Right, so we've just had this delivery and we're quite excited about it because we think it's the air vent for Bruno. So Andrew's just going to open it now. We're going to have a look at it. Now, from all the videos that we've seen on van builds, a lot of people use the max air fan. However, we don't have the budget because they're approximately 350 quid. Oh, it is it. Exciting stuff. Right, so we went for the same specifications. However, in our price budget, we managed to get this one off eBay, brand new, for £160, I think it was.
160 something it was.
Yeah, okay. So we're just going to have a look at it now. The main thing that we were concerned about is if the vent is open and it starts to rain, we didn't want any ingress of any water coming into the van, obviously, because it causes all kinds of issues with moisture within the van. So let's have a look.
Fan, what you could use also when it was closed, like a max air fan, you can actually have the fan on when the roof's closed.
Yeah,
so
when the open vent's closed. Right, so just gonna have a look at it now. Ooh, so excited. It's quite sad that you get excited about tiny things, but yeah, this is one of the most important gadgets that we're going to have on there, because once we're travelling around, hopefully around Europe, we'll go to much more interesting and hotter places than in the UK. Of course, you need the ventilation anyway, whether you're in the UK or not. So, oh, yeah, looks good. Looks good. Let's have a look at that front vent.
Drop it.
Oh, yeah.
The rear vent, to be honest.
Oh, sorry, rear vent.
Facing the rear.
Yeah, it's to the rear of the van, but that's actually where the air comes in, isn't it? The
It's
airflow.
more clear than I thought it like being smoky, Mark. Also like lighting.
Yeah, so hopefully it's a little bit smoky, but it's not a blackout one, which is what we wanted really, because you can then get some natural light coming in. And because we've only got two small windows, hopefully, that we're going to be putting in.
Inside if you want to.
Yeah, let's have a look at that. Oh yeah. So yeah, yeah, we're only going to have two small windows in the van. So as much natural light as we can get from above, the better. So what are we thinking, Andrew? What's the verdict? Yeah, it looks quite good. It's a remote control one.
So I don't know if we ever use access. It's going to be there above your head, like, but yeah.
But I'm only short, so we're not quite sure at the moment whether I'm going to be able to reach.
I suppose if you ever in bed,
the ceiling.
Switch the fan on because it's getting too warm. I suppose you can put that in.
Yeah, you've got the flexibility to either do it manually, because this control. Let me just have a look at that. That squeaking's not my bottom, by the way. That was the sofa. Right, so you've got the control section on there. You can do it manually, or the remote control. So we've got a bit of flexibility there. That's quite good.
Fly screen.
Oh yeah, there's a fly screen on it. Oh yeah, so there is. I didn't realise it had that. So, yeah, I think the verdict is that it's all looking quite good at the moment. So the proof of the pudding will be in the eating, as they say.
Also, it says in the advertisement, I've not checked it out yet, but once it's up, the, whatever you want to call it, the lid,
yeah.
If it does start to rain, it's got a sensor on it where if it senses rain, it will close automatically.
Which is similar to the Max Air fan that people are using.
Rain sensor, there you go. RS rain sensor, so it has got it on.
Let's have a look. Oh yeah. So that hopefully will take a lot of the pressure off us if we leave it open to vent while we're out of the van. Hopefully we'll not come back to a flooded home. Hi, right, so when we were researching how to install the extractor vent in the ceiling of the van, Bruno, we noticed that a lot of people were using something called Sikaflex. Now, when we looked at how much Sikaflex was, it's around about, the time of recording, about £13 per 300ml, which to us is quite expensive. So we looked up what people were recommending as a suitable alternative that's more within our budget. Now, for the same amount, we actually stumbled upon what I'm going to show you now, and it was from Toolstation, and it was approximately £7, just over £7, £7.20 maybe. So it was this stuff. And it's called Pure Flex 40 by Everbuild. Oh, let's focus. Everbuild. Technic, it says. And it's high modulus PU sealant and adhesive. And it says over paintable. So you can actually paint over this stuff, should you need to. So yeah, that's what people were recommending as a suitable alternative. So we'll give it a go. We're about to start fitting the extractor fan and skylight combined. Now we need to position it correctly, because at the back on the roof we're going to have one solar panel that's a width of 113.4 centimetres, and another one the same size at the front end. So luckily it falls directly between these two bars. The hole that we're going to have to cut is 40 centimetres. Now I've made a template, and Andrew's just marked the corners with a little dot. So when we take that template down now, we know it's exactly centralised, it's fair enough away from the edge, it's not going to interfere with where the shower panel's going to go in, which is demarcated here, and it's just going to be over where the fridge is actually going to be, and the drawer unit on this side. So it's ideally located. We've got a window here, a window here, and a skylight going in here with an extractor fan, which should be great for letting in a little bit more light. So we're just wiping the roof down and going to mark off from the holes now that we've just done pilot holes for from the inside. Being cheered on by the next door neighbour's kid. We're going to mark out where we actually need to cut now on the outside. So here we go. Obviously it's a little trickier because it's corrugated, all the umps and bumps, but just try your best. We're looking at a 40 centimetre line going along, forming a square, which should be a large enough it should be a large enough opening for getting the skylight through. Not fully, obviously, don't want it dropping on us, but yeah, just measure right. Yeah. Fingers crossed, we've measured right.
I've noticed a lot of this van building, it's pretty scary stuff when you actually
yeah, when you come to do it, yeah, being up actually on the roof.
I know that's like cutting a hole in the right.
And yeah, it's an expensive mistake if you do it wrong, because you've only got one chance of cutting your hole in the roof, and measuring accurately and checking your measurements beforehand is definitely one of the main things you've got to do, because if you cut a hole that's too large, you're a bit stuck. Yeah, you can't glue the bits back on, unfortunately. You could have another panel, I suppose, welded on. It's going to look terrible. So, Andrew's just putting another pilot hole in. Why is that, Andrew?
Well, I need to make the hole bigger with this in a second.
Yeah.
So then I can fit the saw blade through the hole. At the moment it's not big enough to get the saw blade through.
The initial pilot holes were just for demarcating. And the secondary hole is where the larger drill bit's going to go through to actually start the straight jigsaw cutouts. And that's the first hole now done with the larger drill bit.
Go out a bit more.
Yeah.
Close enough, I think.
Yep. So you don't really want to go over the line, obviously, because it's going to make So we're trying to get as close to the line, so it makes it easier to jigsaw it out later.
Oh, I've drilled this one a little bit too close to the line, so this hole's not going to be as big, I don't think.
We're in. Right, so Andrew's just putting some gaffer tape down the edge now before he cuts it. And why is that, Andrew?
Same as when we're doing the windows, so it stops the jigsaw scratching the paintwork on the van.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you don't, the way where you run the edge of the jigsaw along, it can cause scuffing along the edge of your paintwork. And we don't want that, because we want to keep it nice and smart looking.
I think the actual fan might cover it anyway.
Yeah, it could do. It could
I'm
do.
not risking it anyway. Or a bit of tape.
Yeah. So it's better being safe than sorry, and ending up with scuff marks all along the edge. Just the cost of a bit of tape, which is pence. It's worth just doing that additional step in the procedure. Now is the moment of truth. Let's see if it fits. Are we ready?
Yeah, we'll give it a go.
So make sure you get the wires in.
Back in facing me.
The right way. That bit lines up.
Yeah.
And we're in. A little bit of leeway each side. A little bit of wiggle room.
Wiggle room, it's cool.
And job's a good one. We just need to clean up all the edges, protect all the edges with metal paint, and then silicone the unit actually into position. Making sure it's all screwed down properly and watertight.
Don't get your shoelace stuck.
Now Andrew's just marked through the holes where you need to put the screw points in, and he's going to just drill through those points.
All the ones I can get to anyway.
The ones that he can get to.
Is that in that? Oh no, I'm just missing it. I thought it might be in that cross piece.
No, the whole thing misses. I think the whole thing misses the joist bars underneath.
Should just big enough for that to tap into. Yeah, should be fine.
So we're just making a little marker point really. Andrew's just drilled through the pilot holes for the 16 screw points for the extractor. And our next stage is to, unfortunately some of the tape stuck on, so we're just going to clean up all these edges with some petrol, a little dab of petrol to take all the residue off, and hopefully it'll bring this up as well. So that's the next phase. So unfortunately it's just started raining again. We thought we'd seen the last of it, but we're at the stage where we're gonna have to, oh, what happened then? We're gonna have to get it in anyway. The umbrella's up. There's a temporary gazebo, and we're just gonna get the, what was it actually called? Down a bit. It's actually called Puraflex 40, which was a recommended substitute for, what's the other one called, Andrew? Sikaflex. So Andrew's just going to go in. Which way are we going? So we're going to put the blocks in first to level out the surface. There we go.
See what happens. You don't want to put it on the van. I think that'd be
Yeah, better on the van, and then squash the rest of it in. Oh, yeah, there we go. It's all coming out now.
One beam or two, it's going to squish.
I reckon an extra yeah, bead. Be on the safe side. An extra bead of it. Yeah, let's get that in.
Let's see how it goes in there.
So, one in, nice and level. Looks good to me.
Let's give it a squish.
One down. 5 more to go. Oh. So 2 beads, and then level it out with the spacer. And I think overall the effect's going to be a lot neater than putting a load of Sikaflex in there or Puraflex 40 in there to level out the surface. Just for a couple of extra quid. Much neater job. So what Andrew's now doing is going along the edges of each one just to make sure they're completely sealed in before he applies the actual unit itself over the top. Oh. Because that's where the unit goes up to, and if it's going to leak under anywhere, it's going to be at those points.
Right.
So it's just going to go and get the unit now itself, and we're going to plop it in. So he's pre-applied a layer of the Puraflex 40, and he's going to line it up, make sure it's the right way around, so the opening's towards the back. Just position it correctly. Are we in?
I hope so. Get a screw, make sure the screw all lined up with that.
Yeah.
Obviously, tiny screwdriver.
So it's looking like we're in.
See if we line the screws up.
Yeah. Right, so Andrew's just managed to locate the screw holes again underneath with the bradawl. Yeah, so it's demonstrated on the opposite side. Place the screw in, and it's just going to tighten those up, so it should be positioned correctly.
Screw. Stick it on a low setting, crack it. Stick it loosely for now.
Yeah.
Go around.
So we're just positioning it really at the moment before it's all tightened up. Because once it is tightened up, then all the adhesive sealant will probably start squashing out from underneath. So there we have it. Some of the silicone did, or not silicone, the Pure Flex
Yes.
did seep out a little bit, and that's all been neatened up now around that edge. And I think you'll agree, using those spacer blocks has definitely made it look so much neater along that edge. Now, once it has stopped raining, because we're going to have to get in now, we're going to infill around these areas and make sure it's completely sealed in and looking very neat. Now, the more observant of you will notice we didn't screw through into the blocks, only because they're not actually affixed securely to the van. They're only held in by the Pure Flex, so we didn't really see much point in trying to screw into a plastic block.
The cross beam crosses makes
it's very strengthened because the actual beam inside runs along. Runs along that edge anyway. So there's not really any flex in the going across the van. The main flex was on this side and the opposing side. So that's mainly where we wanted the strength of the screws to go round, because it wasn't being supported underneath by a bar. And this is the final result from the inside. Now obviously the screws are protruding through now. However, you can cut them off, I suppose, but they're going to be covered up with insulation anyway. Just make you aware that they are going to be coming through in that position. Now, I've seen some people put wooden frames to compensate, but we didn't think it was fully necessary to do that, because we're going to put some wood panelling across, or sheets of wood going across to hold in the insulation anyway, and we didn't feel the necessity, that's easy for me to say, the necessity to put a wooden frame in.
I thought the wooden frame
like we did.
Strength, but since them beams are so close anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the other thing. The beams are so close to it, that strengthens the roofing anyway once the unit's gone in. Unlike what we did round the window, we did need to put the panelling in because they were from a caravan. We had to put the wooden frame in. That made sense, but I don't think it did on that one. But if you choose to put a wooden frame round, that's your decision, but we didn't think it was necessary. Final thing is, we can't actually test it at the moment because the wiring loom isn't in place yet, because we're actually going to try and go off grid. So solar panels are going, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, solar panels should be going in either side, over here and here on the roof. So until they're in, until we get the batteries to actually charge to run the system, the electric system, then we can't test it. But fingers crossed, it is all working soon, once all that electrical system's in place. We've had a little change of plan. Andrew's going to try and wire it up to...
Just a tester.
Yeah, wire it up to a spare battery that we do actually have, just to test it. So, let's have a go. Just prepping a bit of wire to connect the two up. And let's go for it. This is where...
I'm going to bodge the wires together.
Yeah. So obviously this isn't an expert job. This is just a quick fix for testing whether the power will operate the unit itself and make sure that it's all working. Really, we probably should have done this before we even put it in, but you'd think we'd have tried that, but you know, you live and learn. We're making the mistakes so you don't have to. But yeah, we should have tested it really when it arrived, just to make sure we didn't need to return it for any reason. Right. Oh, well, there's power going to it. The lights are flashing. Excellent.
Do you read instructions or just push buttons?
Ooh.
Just push buttons.
Don't press the button. Press the button. Right. Is it on?
I know that.
Oh, you just turned it off. So.
Oh.
It was already on.
It's already on. So, I don't know.
Up, maybe?
I don't know.
Oh! Something's happening. Oh, can you see through? Excellent, it is working. I can't believe we're so excited about this.
It's raining. We've got rain sensor on it.
It's got a rain sensor on it, so hopefully...
Oh, I'm not turning it on, turn the rain sensor on. Oh, rain sensor's on now.
It is working, lad.
Don't know the rain sensor works.
Oh, it's meant to close down if it senses rain.
Yeah, I don't know how it senses it. How quick it senses it.
Yeah. We may be waiting some time.
Anyway, I'm not waiting. Might hit the sensor.
Maybe we could test that at another time, but at least we know it's opening. Let's hope it closes now. And are we closing again? Is it closing?
Yeah, it's coming down.
Right. It's a little bit... Hold on, there's a little bit of noise, isn't there? But not too bad. What about the fan itself?
I don't know. You turn that on. Is that these ones?
Maybe. Let's have a go. Oh, something's moving.
That's out.
That's out. Taking it out. Is it? That's pulling up, is it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's extracting out. Let's try.
Can you do it in speeds?
Oh no, that's in.
Oh, I know I do. Oh, that's top speed.
Oh yeah, it's got different speeds on it. Oh, that's good, isn't it?
Is that in? I don't know. Feel like it's coming in, yeah, feel breeze, can't you?
Where is it?
No, that wires, you want me to switch your wires?
Where is it?
Is it?
Oh, that's...
Is that going out? I
think so.
Out? Oh, it says out there.
Yeah.
Oh, it was in. That's out now, suppose.
That might be extracted out.
Out, yeah, because the lid's closed in.
Oh, yeah.
There's a button that says in.
How goes that?
That's going out now. Taking all the...
So, if we're cooking in here... Are you listening? Hello. If we're cooking in here, it'll take all smoke or that all smells outside. Or if we're having a shower, it'll take all steam out. Or, if it's warm in here, it'll blow cold air in from outside as well. So just as a final report to that, the whole extractor unit stroke skylight stroke fan unit going in, we started at 9:30 this morning and we've just completed at 1 o'clock. So that's like, what, 3.5 hours to do the whole thing. Like I said, it's not been connected up fully to the electrics, purely because we don't have any in the van yet, but we have tested it now, as you've seen, which wasn't part of the plan, but we just, Andrew had thought we could actually test it, and that was all within the 3.5 hours. So it's a morning's project, I would have thought. We would have probably done it a little bit quicker had it not started raining and we'd had to pause and get extra bits of equipment out and towels and things to stop the Pure Flex getting wet. But now it's up there, hopefully all sealed in, tested, and we're good to go.
Just a quick one. When we put the roof venting, fan, skylight, whatever you want to call it, it started raining, so we did it quickly and just tied it up and went inside. But we didn't tie it up too brilliantly because all the swarf and bits of metal that came out of us cutting it, a better shot, is collected in place. I've cleaned around the fan up the other day, but yeah, all the bits of metal kind of collected and started going like rusty in places, so I want to clean that up before it affects it. I don't know if it will affect it, but I don't want to give it a chance, so I'll try wiping it, but that didn't do anything, so I'll try a bit of old tea-cut, see what happens, and try that. Well, there we go, that's one part done. It's not too bad. It's that's what I did show you before. That one's I'm not done yet. But yeah, it seems to come off with a bit of a rubber, tea-cut. Makes the whole roof look yellow. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, the whole roof could do with doing really, which I'll do eventually, but I don't want to get that rust off. I don't want it getting into the paintwork. So yeah, I'll just do a bit extra, all the bits where it's collected, and I'll call it a day.